What if I told you guys that the Manhattan Institute gave Kanye West an endorsement in 2018? Why do you? So now again, why do you think that they had Kanye West? And as you can see right here, look, this piece originally appeared at Fox News because Fox News is the unofficial propaganda wing of the Manhattan Institute. So now, what if I told you guys that the Manhattan Institute gave Kanye West an endorsement in 2018? Would you believe me? Or would you say that I was being a conspiracy theorist? It doesn't matter what you say, because there's the evidence right there. And if you guys go and take a look at my community post, the link to it is in the community post. This is the article from April 25th of 2018. Now, if you pay very close attention, I believe it was copy and pasted from Fox News, but this MI right here, this is right on the Manhattan Institute's website. So now, why would the Manhattan Institute have an interest in Kanye West? Just because the Manhattan Institute says something encouraging or says something nice doesn't necessarily mean that Kanye's an agent. What you really want to put your finger on is, why would the Manhattan Institute have an interest in Kanye West? Why? That's the question. Remember, this is a white supremacist think tank, so they're paying attention and studying things all the time. They're studying crime and studying statistics in order to utilize Fox News to paint an anti-black narrative, which is one of the reasons why I have YouTube channels like Crimecast, because remember, we're the only ones that commit crime. So what would they need Kanye West for? Torian says they need him as a shield. He's being used and allowing himself to be used. I totally agree with that. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. He's made a lot of money. He's somebody, like Torian says, that can be used as a shield. Another thing that he can do is he can be used to derange internal politics. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If the Manhattan Institute studies white supremacy, you think that the Manhattan Institute doesn't study black people? You don't think that they know all about no tangibles, no vote? Let's not forget, Tucker Carlson had Tariq Nasheed on his program as well. So he knows all about this stuff. They know all about this stuff. You don't think that they know that a lot of people in these circles don't like Democrats? Now is a very dangerous time, because now when you have a visible shift in the way that people vote, in the way that people move, in the way that people are looking at politics, because everybody is actually starting to wake up and actually starting to do what they should have been doing all their entire lives and paying attention to politics, now is a time where it can be very easy to divide and tear people down the middle. A lot of people may sound conservative with some of the things that they say. A lot of people may sound liberal with some of the things that they say. These are just now becoming things that are actually on the agenda, that a lot of people are just now looking at. I gotta agree with Bronze. It's always a dangerous time in the United Snakes of America. That's facts. When the air and the water are poison and you're in a jungle, is always dangerous. Carlton said the Manhattan Institute probably created the Twitter space to monitor us. Let me ask you a question. If they did that, did it work? Somebody created Twitter space to look at something, and they have a show on their hands. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, what would the Manhattan Institute see in Kanye other than the fact that he's somebody that they can use as a shield? Do you think that they kept the part in the interview where he mentions Dr. Claude Anderson on purpose? Do you think they don't think that people mention Dr. Claude Anderson all the time? Do you think that there's a reason why they chose to get Kanye West instead of Candace Owens? Helps with that gender war thing, getting a black man talking about conservatism, despite the fact that Candace Owens is even more conservative than he is. So that's my question for you guys. And I want to know what you guys think. And if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash the like button. So now, this article here, it says, what happens when a hip-hop icon takes the red pill? What red pill? And dares to challenge liberals. So that's all you have to do is take the red pill and you challenge liberals. So what is Kanye West's red pill? That's my question. Rapper Kanye West recently committed an act of cultural heresy when he tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." I don't think that that's cultural heresy. I think that that's white people saying that that's cultural heresy. And the problem is that many black people, instead of thinking for ourselves, tend to automatically agree with something that somebody white said, which is the problem with this, because all you have is Kanye mixing a lot of nonsense with legitimate messages, which is one of the reasons why I said white noise matters. Because it does. Donald Trump supporters like Owens, a writer, actress. I didn't know that she acted. Oh, yeah, that's right. She. Never mind. And conservative commentator have little standing in the hip hop world, much less in the mainstream black political consensus. Immediately, this isn't a true statement. There's a lot of hip hop artists that mess with Trump. This is painting a narrative. And I agree, Cameron. Who cares what a celebrity says? According to Kanye, and I'm not sure where he got this information. We'll be looking at it later. According to Kanye, okay? According to Kanye, in the interview with Tucker Carlson, I don't know if you guys saw TD Hip Hop Media's video yet. Did you guys see TD's video? If you guys saw TD's video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. In the interview segment that TD had in his video, Kanye said that when he visited President Trump, that black people's approval rating for President Trump increased by 40%. So I agree with Cameron. Who cares what a celebrity says? However, the reality is more people than I'd like to admit, and more people than I'm comfortable with, care about what celebrities say. I tell you who else cares about what celebrities say: the Manhattan Institute. And if they care about what celebrities say, then we better be paying attention to it, because the only thing that they're there to do is derange internal politics. Reactions to West's tweet ranged from dismissive to contemptuous. Among his detractors were Twitter activist Sean King and Tom Arnold. To his credit, West is standing by his original comment. So now, what I find fascinating is, again, when it comes to Sean King, and people can have their opinions on Sean King, Fox News and Tucker Carlson and all of these conservatives, Candace Owens, these people are people who are quick to point out that Shaun King is not black. When it's convenient for them, though, now we'll just throw him right on in there. To his credit, West is standing by his original comment, tweeting, "Consistently bringing up the past keeps you stuck there. Self-victimization is a disease, and demonization is metastasizing." So now, this is why the Manhattan Institute is interested in this particular statement here. Now, what's up with this particular statement here? Why is that something that the Manhattan Institute would take as a tweet from him? Why is that? Why is that important? Why is that something that the Manhattan Institute focused on? Because this is like gold for the Manhattan Institute. This is a black person validating white supremacist talking points. That's all you need. That's almost as good as an invitation to the barbecue. So this is a dog whistle that Kanye West has given out to the right, because dog whistles come from all directions, and this is a dog whistle from Kanye. Hey, give me a platform. See, I can talk about black people. Constantly being in the past keeps you stuck there. He's talking about slavery and Jim Crow. Self-victimization is a disease. He's talking about reparations, yet he just name-dropped Dr. Claude Anderson. And demonization is metastasizing. That's what we're talking about, white supremacy and white privilege. Nobody's dumb. That's the reason why the Manhattan Institute has that paragraph in there. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. He also vocalized support for the president during a subsequent radio appearance, sparking more outrage. No one was outraged that he supported the president. No one cares. See, this is one thing that conservatives, especially white conservatives and black conservatives, have picked up on this drama queenish tactic as well. If you notice, when it comes to conservatives, they're always quote unquote being attacked. And they're always, quote unquote, declaring who's outraged about what. And then what they do is they'll take an extreme case and say, see, this is the representative of the entire community. They're all outraged. I don't think anybody is outraged by Kanye, because everybody knows Kanye's get down. As far as Kanye goes, I've never been a fan of Kanye. I've said that a lot of times. That's why when I would do those earlier commentaries on my other channel about him and Kim, it would seem like I was going in on him. It's because I was. I've never liked Kanye. I've never liked Rockefeller Records. I've never liked any of those people. I've never liked Jay-Z. I was on the Ether side. I was on the Stillmatic side. So this has nothing to do with Trump for me. It doesn't have anything to do with politics. But I guess because the white right has spoken, everybody's outraged because Kanye West wore a t-shirt. I don't care what Kanye does, because I don't base any of my decisions off of what a celebrity does. Now, this is the white right that says how stupid black people are for following celebrities. But what is the white right doing by coddling Kanye West? Isn't that them putting a celebrity in our face saying we need to be like him? Now, the Manhattan Institute studies black people. They probably study black people's psychology. They probably study people in prison. I wouldn't be surprised if they did human experiments. But Kanye West is no different than any black talking head or any black political figure that they want to gravitate to. He's an unstable, emotional, disconnected crybaby. I'm so tired of people making excuses for this moron. He is a complete sociopath. He is a complete narcissist. And if there's one thing that narcissists know how to do, they'll charm you and then they'll stab you in the back. If you don't believe me, ask Candace Owens, because Kanye had a spaz on her a couple years ago. But we're not going to talk about any of that. We're also not going to talk about how the New York Post said that Kanye's academy that he started was a billionaire's pipe dream and something dumb. But we're not talking about that now. No. We're talking about how valuable this White Lives Matter t-shirt is. Now, if everybody's so outraged about it, where's all the outrage at? Exploiting a mentally ill man is the sad part. But it's right in the Democrat and the Republican playbook. They're exploiting a mentally ill man as we speak. I've seen Herschel Walker CT scans. There's nothing inside of his brain. His brain stem starts at his neck and there's nothing attached to it. Yet they put him into a position to run for senator. This dude is walking around with a jack-o'-lantern for a head, hollow and carved out. And he's smart. He's one of the good ones. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. Have you seen his explanation of how pollution works? That's him knowing what he's talking about. Let me ask any white right-wing person who's a science teacher, would you give Herschel Walker an A on an essay if he wrote that nonsense on a paper for your class? Probably not. Probably not. The essence of Owens and West's message is the obsessive focus on historical racism, which if it's historical racism, then that means that it's in the past, but it's not historical. Because if I'm not mistaken, me, Torian, TD, Phil Scott Show, Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, Kid Gravity, Afro Elite, every single one of us talks about racism that occurs in our own ways. And it's occurring now. And out of any of those people who I just listed, none of the content is debunkable. We literally use mainstream media and cite these sources right from the white media as they report it. So racism is not historical. And the fact that these people think that they have some kind of innate ability to deny the past is an example of present day racism. What white people need to understand and make peace with is that their history in this country sets a bad tone for a story. And that's nobody's fault but theirs. And the best way for them to deal with it is to correct it. But see, they don't feel that they have to. And they feel that they don't have to hear about it. So we have to call it historical racism. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys as parents lived through Jim Crow? If your mom or your dad lived through Jim Crow, give me a thumbs up. If they haven't, give me a thumbs down. Now, let me ask you guys a question. We're not going to go to the popular white supremacist talking point of slavery. We're going to talk about Jim Crow. Do you guys think that if Jim Crow didn't exist, your parents would possibly be in a better position today financially? If you think they would, then give me a thumbs up. So if they're still dealing currently with the restrictions and competition that they had from the past, then my question is, how is that racism historical? It's not a thing of the past, because you're still currently dealing with the deficiencies that it caused. And that's not debunkable. No one else forgives and forgets. We're supposed to never forget about 9/11. Okay. But we're not supposed to forget about what happened to our parents, because let's not get it twisted. When white people say slavery didn't affect anybody that's alive today, every black person should take that as them calling you a bastard. And the reason why is because not all of our parents are dead. And guess what? Racism affected them and they're alive today. So it's not historical racism. As a determining factor in the lives of American blacks today, victimizes them by stripping them of individual agency. Now, the only thing that we've actually been stripped of is culture, names, religion, traditions. We don't need individual agency. Candace Owens is certainly not the first black thinker to express such ideas. So nobody else is a thinker. I think that everybody is a thinker. Everybody has their own ideas. You know what I'm saying? TD has his own ideas. You know what I'm saying? Torian has his own ideas. I have my own ideas. None of us had the same ideas. But because our ideas don't fit in their narrative and it just doesn't give them a pass, that doesn't make us a thinker at all. But as long as you give them some forgiveness and a pat on the head and an N-word pass, and you pucker your lips and smile and buck your eyes real bright and grab a red and white straw and sip that flavorless Kool-Aid, yeah, you can be down. You can be part of the team until you're not. Look at all the wonderful black people they talk about here. Thomas Sowell, Shelby Steele, Walter E. Williams, and my Manhattan Institute colleague, Jason Riley, have made similar arguments. As Jason D. Hill wrote in commentary in response to a Ta-Nehisi Coates victimhood opus, Between the World and Me. I am saddened by your conviction that white people wield such a great deal of metaphysical power over the exercise of your own agency, which I find fascinating because that's them just completely not acknowledging the entire lifespan of this country and prior to this country, because they had slavery during the Maryland and Virginia colonies, and they still benefit from it. And every white person that's alive benefits from it. If you don't believe me, why don't you go check out the value of that scepter and that crown that the Queen of England passed down when she passed away. Let me ask a question. How much did they pay for that? How much did they pay for any of that stuff? And this is the reason why they just don't want to be bothered with our bothersome history. It's victimhood. You know, it's not that it didn't happen or anything. It's just victimhood. And I mean, how can you sit there and tan your testicles when you have this on your conscience? Don't you think that would make an uncomfortable tanning session? I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to sit in a tanning booth and microwave my balls thinking that I didn't do shit to get where I'm at. And people that are talking about it are actually right. And I had to explain it. I wouldn't want to do that. So I guess, you know, I can somewhat sympathize with these chads and these coons at the Manhattan Institute, but only on the testicle tanning part. In making my enemy of the dream that is a constitutive feature of American identity, you have irrevocably alienated yourself from the redemptive hope, the inclusive unity, and the faith and charity that are necessary for America to move even closer to achieving moral excellence. America will never achieve moral excellence. The entire country is a burial ground of people who weren't white that were killed. There will never be anything moral about this country until it doesn't exist. In making an enemy of that dream, I already read that. West's rejection of such a worldview represents a threat to the ideological monopoly that social justice warriors, which is a dog whistle for black people who have an issue with white supremacy, and Black Lives Matter advocates have enjoyed in the hip hop universe. So again, what the Manhattan Institute is doing is switching hip hop for black people, which now we know BET is switching hip hop for Latino people. Yeah, they paid free 99 for everything that they have, and then made a bunch of laws that make it where people can't replicate the criminal acts that they did to steal and build this country. From its inception, the genre has generally reflected the left-wing conscience that minority communities are hapless victims of institutionalized racism and that individuals have no say in their destiny. For example, look who they quote. Even the Manhattan Institute, they're on cue with the left. Big Pun. So out of all the hip hop artists, the Manhattan Institute chose the Big Pun. Quote, capital punishment lays the woes of the ghetto at the feet of the government. System so organized, they'll get you and who you running with. In Murder to Excellence, West asserts himself that the lower life expectancy for black guys reflects the systems working effectively, and so does the racial wealth gap. But all we have to do is just make sure that we just brainwash people and we don't think that this stuff exists, and everything will be A-okay. Now, what I do notice is I'm starting to wonder, is the Manhattan Institute writing the script for the left wing as well? I mean, they are a white supremacist think tank, and part of white supremacy is deranging internal politics. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were, if the left did have some fellows at the Manhattan Institute. Shout out to my man Conrad. What up with it, bro? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you haven't hit the bell and you're not subscribed, go ahead and make sure that you hit the bell. But hip hop artists have also expressed frustration with their communities for playing a role in perpetuating negative social conditions that define. Now we're not talking about minorities anymore. See, they always slip up. They start out talking about minorities, but then they talk about who they're really talking about, that define much of Black America. Negative social conditions define much of Black America. Really? Anybody want to name some negative social conditions that define Black America? Don't be shy. There's a comment section there for you. In the story of OJ, Jay-Z argues that young blacks reject bourgeoisie values like financial literacy and personal discipline to the detriment of themselves and the future generations. You want to know what's more important than throwing money away at a strip club? Jay-Z asks. Credit. You ever wonder why Jays own all the property in America? That's how they did it. Now that's interesting. So, do you guys see now why Tucker Carlson and Fox News cleared an interview with Kanye? They were saying this stuff about Kanye back in 2018. In 44 More, Logic chastises rappers for their glorification of frivolous spending. You in the club throwing dollars, but I'm saving mine so my kids can go to college. And in Blacker the Berry, Kendrick Lamar highlights the hypocrisy of those who over-identify with official martyrs while ignoring the fact that most murdered black men die at the hands of their fellows. So why did I weep when Trayvon Martin was in the streets? Lamar asked. When gangbanging makes me kill an N-word blacker than me. Hypocrite. So now, apparently, hip-hop artists speak for black people. Let me ask you guys a question. Do hip-hop artists speak for you guys? It's very important that they continue to have it where nobody speaks for us, which is why I believe that everybody should have their own voice. Because who's out here just doing what hip hop artists say to do? Facts, Tilo. That's the whole point of things like the Manhattan Institute. To help erase history. Because once there's been a history erasure, that means that an accountability erasure will follow. Conservatives and others who reject the liberal narrative. Now, mind you, now you can get all your dog whistles from here, who reject the liberal narrative of what it means to be black in America, should be heartened by West's tweets. So this is white people, Christopher Rufo and the gang at the Manhattan Institute, telling you how you should feel. Now, if I told them they should stick their face in a trash compactor, I don't think that they would. If I told them that they should go play in traffic, I don't think that they would. I don't need anybody telling me what I need to do. You see, because the Manhattan Institute, despite the fact that it's allegedly an educational institution, doesn't seem to be able to get past its bell curve based beliefs. And mind you, a fellow from the Manhattan Institute helped put that project together, that black people have low IQs. That is why black people, that is why racists and white supremacists like Republicans, conservatives, and people who are Manhattan Institute fellows believe that when a black person repeats a white person, that means that they're smart, not your own original thoughts. You're an idiot if you're black, because if you're black, you don't have any cognition based on the work of the Manhattan Institute, which is the bell curve. So if you can repeat what a white person says, or if you can mimic what a white person does, then quote unquote, you're one of the smart ones. And I agree, Tilo. The Manhattan Institute is a right-wing think tank. Nothing educational about it. Facts. West's tweets could expose his vast audience to conservative arguments with which it is largely unfamiliar. So now, why would they assume that Kanye West's audience is largely unfamiliar with conservative arguments? You see, if the Manhattan Institute knew anything about black people, then they would know that most black people are probably moderate conservative ideologically. Yeah, and Lucas was absolutely right, Torian. I saw that video. Anybody that's an idiot that can mimic or copy what a white person does, then that means that you have a brain, because they don't feel that you have your own brain to be able to create your own thoughts. Remember, the bell curve tells these people that you have a 68 IQ. That's what they think of all of us. Low impulse control, low crime. Or low impulse control, high crime. 13% of the population equals 55% of the crime. Where do you think they get all of these arguments and talking points? This is where they get them from. The Manhattan Institute. Why do you so now again, why do you think that they had Kanye West? And as you can see right here, look, this piece originally appeared at Fox News, because Fox News is the unofficial propaganda wing of the Manhattan Institute.